So, oh, thanks. Let's see here. All right. Let me double check. All right, am I on now? So apparently I've been talking to myself for a few minutes. How awful. Now I'm feeling like a goofball. All right, it says that we're going. I've been, so Corey, I've been talking to myself for a few minutes. Can you let me know if you're hearing me now? So sorry about that, folks. This is something that does happen with live streams now and again. And now I'm feeling kind of silly. Let's make sure that this one is up, that the audio is going. Okay. So let's see. Okay, I'm on now. Thanks, Bruce. Sorry about that, everybody. Apparently, I was talking to myself for a few minutes because, that's the type of goofball I am. So there we go. All right. Thanks, Bruce, and everybody. I am sorry about that. So I hit live stream in one place. I didn't hit live stream in another place. So there we go. So I just spent a few minutes introducing the channel. I don't know if that's going to be picked up in the recording or not, but let's do this again. So my name is Rich Charpentier. I'm the channel host, and more often than not, we're talking about drones and imaging and building your own small drone business. Now, I already closed up one of the tabs on the screen. Oh, so embarrassing. I'm starting the day out well. This is what happens when I miss a live stream last week, right? Good morning, Ariel. Aerial view, good to have you on here. So normally I get the live streams up and going right. So I spent 5 minutes talking to myself, everybody. We'll see if that shows up in the replay because we did have the streaming turned on OBS. So starting out this morning, I started talking about the new project that we're doing, a new drone construction progression project. And I'm going to go over to YouTube real quick, if I can type. And I just wanted to share with folks. So if you are new to this channel, we do have a set of playlists. We have started talking about a new drone construction progression project. And that project can be found on AZ Drones YouTube channel under Building a Drone Business. So if you're looking to catch up on the last 4 videos that we did, that last 4 videos can be found under the Building a Drone Business. So if you've gotten into one of the videos midway, video 2, 3, or 4, I would suggest going back to the beginning and starting out on the first video in the series, and they are all labeled. So if you have an interest in drone construction progression reporting, you're going to enjoy this series. This series is going to take a little while because we've already marked out a new flight area for where construction location is going to be going, but they haven't broken ground yet. So it could be several weeks before I get back into this series again. But just keep an eye on it. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and like down below. Or if you're in a hurry, you can head on over to our Teachable site, so at teachable.com, and you can see another example, a class on full drone progression construction reporting. So we've got a couple of places for you to get the information. But if you want to come along with this new series on YouTube, you're welcome to. But there might be some big spaces. Okay, Joe, so aerial view is you, good deal. And sorry everybody for my late start there. I swear, I was talking to the screen. So, okay, before we get into this, I was also saying when Corey was kind enough to let me know that I wasn't coming through, came across this meme last week. I used to work in telecom, and this does have impact on my own personal business. We're trying to not do work on the weekends. Do you remember when we used to do that? There's a propensity for all of us building our own small businesses that will work every single day of the week. And really, you do need to take some time off for your own fun and relaxation. So, when the phone was tied with a wire, humans were free. That is true. I do remember when I started out in telecom that I had some concerns about how is this going to change things for everybody. And now I know how it's going to change things for everybody because this computer's beeping, or that computer's beeping, or that tablet over there is beeping. And all these things, all these little interruptions, at some point you've got to turn them off. Personally, when I'm doing the video work for classes and things, I try to make sure everything's turned off so I'm not distracted while I'm working on one project. And, work on one project at a time. Multitasking is okay. You can work on a couple of projects on the same day, but don't blend them over. It starts to become a headache. All right, so there we go. I'm going to close this one off, but I got a kick out of that when I saw that one online. So first thing, I've got a giant list of to-dos, and yes, I still do use paper sometimes, love computers, but love notepads too. So I've got more on today's list than we're going to get to cover today, but I wanted to jump in to talk about the status of that new project and also another new project. So you're seeing a interactive Yavapai County tax parcel plan here, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But let's talk about that other project where we're doing the drone construction progression reporting. One of the reasons I'm doing this, I wanted to do one utilizing Drone Harmony, because on this channel you have seen setups with Map Pilot and Ground Station Pro and Litchi, and I hadn't really taken much time to, delve into a Drone Harmony setup. I was waiting on a larger project so that I could utilize more of the features of it. So that's the big reason why we're doing it with Drone Harmony. And also it works really well. So far it's really proving itself out, which is absolutely fantastic. So I've been enjoying working with it, and we're looking forward to, as we get into the video flights through locations and the still images for time-lapse purposes, we're going to be seeing all of that. By the way, I got a question this weekend. So in the last video in the new series, so underneath that playlist, in that last video, we actually generated a digital elevation model that we flew. So we flew the location, we captured some data, we exported the data into Metashape, we actually built our digital elevation model and then did an export. And the export that we did, one of my other folks here, let me go down. Where's my downloads? There it is. All right. So I had a call this weekend from a YouTube subscriber, and actually a friend of mine too from Phoenix. And he had run into a stopping point. He said, I've done something wrong, man. And so let me double click this. So he exported his own GeoTIFF as well for a digital elevation model. And then he went and opened the TIFF in Photoshop. Well, I just opened the TIFF in Preview, and this doesn't look like much of anything, does it? This looks terrible. There's actually other information in this TIFF file. So there is actually, when you load this into something like Drone Harmony's Terrain Awareness, you're actually going to see your digital elevation model. So this isn't for your regular photo viewing program. So if you've exported a digital elevation model TIFF, could be from Metashape, could be from another modeling package, you might see something like this as well. So this is the intermediary step until you upload it into something that makes it viewable. And in the fourth installment on the new drone construction progression reporting series here on the YouTube channel, you will actually see the results after we upload this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that one off now, and let's go back down to our interactive map here. So continue following along with the channel and stay up to date if you subscribe with us. And every time we do something new with that construction progression project, you'll be notified about it. And if you're not getting notified about it, make sure you hit that little bell right next to the subscription. So now we're looking at another one. So last week I went and met with a new client, and there's a couple reasons why I decided to pull up this interactive map. I know a lot of you have seen the interactive map previously, and maybe you've used your own county tax parcel information as well. So this is for Yavapai County, and I had a potential customer call last week, tell me about his project, and asked me if I could come out and take a look at the property. So last week, we actually got to go do a quick visit to the location. So this location is out toward Dewey, Arizona. And I wanted to show you in the Yavapai County interactive map. We've talked here before about putting lines on properties and that we're not survey engineers. Well, this is Yavapai County's tax parcel information. So it's an official site. What I want to do is look over at the disclaimer here. So in the Yavapai County's interactive map, they have a great disclaimer, which I think kind of goes along with us, and the concerns about drawing property lines and not stepping into the realm of survey engineering. Well, this disclaimer is awesome. Map and parcel information is believed to be accurate, but accuracy is not guaranteed. No portion of the information should be considered to be or used as a legal document. Users should independently research, investigate, and verify all information. So here we are, a county website that has official information is also popping up a disclaimer. And the bottom line is that when you finally select a parcel for your build site or whatever, that you do have a licensed survey engineer come in to actually do all your boundaries for you. But so I loved seeing this disclaimer because basically for us as drone operators, we're kind of in the same situation. We're asked by clients, can you draw the lines out on the images that you're capturing for us? And let me say, a week and a half ago, I actually had a conversation with a realtor who said to me, Rich, you're costing yourself money if you're unwilling to draw the lines on the maps. My question to them was, could you draw the lines on the maps? But and I do understand what they're saying. Realtors really want those aerial views with the parcel information so that it's easy for a potential buyer to get an idea of the lay of the land there. And as we've said here before, it varies state by state. We know about the lawsuit going on in North Carolina between the survey board and a drone operator. And if you haven't seen that, there's a ton. Just Google North Carolina drone lawsuit, and I think the articles pop up for you. But I mean, even that operator in North Carolina was saying, I'm not warranting the accuracy of what I'm flying here, and I'm handing the data over to a survey engineering firm for final processing. But so even the county website right here, in front of us online, the county website even has a great disclaimer like that. So if you're ever using your county tax parcel maps, check around, see what their disclaimers are. I'm very curious to know. So I went out, we checked out the property, and while I was there, because I wasn't planning on flying that day and we were having stronger winds, I decided to pop the drone up really quick just for a couple of quick 360s. So I want to get into here. So I just closed the Yavapai County tax map. And these images are not perfect. So I knew they wouldn't be perfect because there is nothing planned going on here. Number one, we do have a lot of shadows from the clouds. So it was a beautiful day. I mean, this is gorgeous. But you can see some of the areas where the images were stitched together. I've noted several stitching lines that I thought, well, maybe that's just a shadow line. No, it's not. It is a stitching line. And so these aren't for final delivery for the client. It was more of a reference point for myself. So the first and largest parcel is the landowner's parcel, and he's in the middle of a construction here. So his land goes out this way, but then he's subdividing into 3 locations. So the first location, the highest and best viewpoint, is exactly where I popped the drone up. So I put it up above the truck, and I edited the truck out as well. But so this would most likely be the home build site. So, and it's pretty obvious, it cries out that this is probably the best and most level location. So awesome views from this location. And the second location, the second pad, is actually this one here. And then there's a third one heading out that's hidden away behind it. Let's see. So I'm just moving to the next one. So I actually brought the drone closer into the house, just kind of a for fun shot for myself. Now, by the way, these 360s were automatically generated in the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. So these were JPEGs that came out of it, but I'm going to show you something momentarily to keep in mind, because when I set up for 360s with the drone, I have it do the auto stitching with the JPEGs, but I also have it save the DNG files for me, so that if I have a problem with the auto stitch, I've got a fallback position to make a good 360. Let's take a look at the final one here before we move on. So there's the home pad that we were flying from, and we took the truck out there. So really there's an invisible Rich there standing there waving at you. So this is the second build location, and as you can tell, this is some pretty steep terrain. So I discussed that with the owner afterward. But so I'm going to say that this is probably the second build site, so they opened it up a little bit. And this area down here, so that's the lowest of the three, is the third build location, suggested build location, let's call it that. So we're going to be flying those parcels in a couple of weeks. The property owner asked that we hold off right now because he has some more work going on with the construction of his home. So he'd like all of the construction vehicles and extra work vehicles out of there. So we're actually going to be doing that flight for him on the weekend. Now I'd like to address really quickly. So we had some problems with the auto stitching from the Mavic 2 Pro. So we had some seam lines that showed up. And last week I had an email from one of the YouTube viewers here who asked me, they said, you know, I tried to do this with the Mavic 2 Pro and I can't find the stitched images and, you know, help me. So I've already written them back, but I just wanted to share this with all of you. So this was from the flight over at his property. The JPEGs, here's what was automatically generated in the drone. So I had the drone do its auto 360. I told it to, you know, stitch the JPEGs together. And I told it also, yes, I do want separate images that went into this and so that I can work on and correct it. So you can see some of this, yeah, it's definitely cloud shadows and stuff. But some of it, this line right here is absolutely a seaming error, and this is looking like a seaming error to me as well. So that was what was automatically generated. Let's look at the second one. Same deal here. I noticed somewhere in it, it's not quite as bad, but I did see a seam line. And then the final one, when you actually put this one together, there was a little bit of problems there. So for the viewer who asked last week, I know I've already written you back, but when we do these with the Mavic 2 Pro, not only does it give us the seam together ones, it gives us a folder labeled with that first image. And in that folder, it gives us 26 images. So here we go from 1 to 26. And you'll also notice that I have a panorama TIFF here. So what happened was I took the 26 images, I loaded them into PT GUI, which is a great stitching app. I stitched them together and I got away with actually making a pano that wasn't having the stitching problems. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to minimize this. I was not planning on doing this today, but I'd like to do this with you anyways. If we overrun on time, I'll just check some things off for myself for next week's. So let me look here. What am I after? PT GUI. So here we go, a new version. I'm not going to get the new version of PT GUI right now. I'm just moving this across the window, so I'm blocking the sorry about that. I'm blocking the chat area, but it won't be for long. So what I'm going to do, I'm grabbing those DNGs that were saved in the drone, and I'm dragging them onto PT GUI. And now I'll arrow this one back. And there we go. We've got all of the images before I hit align images or anything. So you can see everything is a little faded here. It's not looking like it's probably the best, but it's because we're dealing with the DNGs. Before I do anything else, I already know that there's some darker areas in the exposure. So before I actually start seaming anything in PT GUI, which is an incredibly powerful tool, by the way, if you want to do 360s, it's worth investigating and investing in. It's not the cheapest license, but it allows us to do more than some other stitching software. So right here, I want some exposure compensation for the images just in case. And I'm not going to tone map this. You can experiment with this, but I'm going to go into my settings really quick and I'm going to optimize the exposures. And we're going to do that full. I'm going to go ahead and optimize the white balance, and we'll do the lens flare as well. And I'm going to say OK to this. And now it tells me the settings were changed. Would you like to do a new optimization based on the changed settings? My answer is yes. So I'm having it do that. And we see the curves here change a little bit. And now what I'd like to do is just take a look. And yep, it did bring this one together for me nicely. And in all honesty, we actually don't have the problems with the stitching lines that the automatic in drone did for me. So my next step could be actually exporting this, saving this, and then doing some editing on it. Instead, what I'm going to do is close PT GUI really quick. Don't save. And let's grab this one back up again, because I did play around with the final panorama And I also stretch the clouds here. So remember, the drone cuts off and doesn't get everything vertical, only about up to 30 degrees. So I actually just stretched these clouds out, did a cloud overlay, and it doesn't look bad when it's in the 360 mode. So we did deal with most of the seam line issues that I had. I'm still noticing something here that I might want to play with. But so in answer to the YouTube subscriber last week who was running into issues, double check your 360 setup and then go into your photo settings and make sure that for your 360s that you're also capturing in RAW as well as the stitched JPEGs. And in the end, what you're going to find when you insert your micro SD card into your computer is that you should have several JPEGs that have the same labeling as these folders. So 0032, 0033, 0034, and we have those folders as well. So once you match those two things up, then you'll say, okay, there's my automatically stitched JPEG, and here's also all my DNGs. Rich, can I assume you have PTI GUI Pro version? Yes, I do. And Joe, I actually got PTI GUI, PT GUI in 2017. It was a Christmas present to me. So Jody got it for me. And that was before I had started really heavily getting into the modeling or anything, but I was having some fun with my original Mavic Pro doing some 360s. So I was using Litchi to set up the 360s, and it does a similar thing. And so I needed something better, you know, to seam things together with for 360s. I did a lot of reading around, and in the end, I got PT GUI Pro, and I licensed that in 2017. And the newest version has told me that I need to update my license. But I mean, so PT GUI has supported me for basically 3 years, you know, because that was right at the end of the year. And that's fine. I will be paying an upgrade fee to them because the software is useful and it plays into multiple facets of my business. I think it's $179. I'm not really sure. I don't work for them or anything. So let's see. What's PT GUI Pro? And let's find out what their price is. So buy. And it is a fantastic application. All right, so 156. My mind, I thought it was 179. But so 156 for that. I think they have a test period as well. So let's go ahead and close that one up again. But yeah, so PT GUI has been around for me for quite a while, Joe. It's not new to me at all. So, and that was just me when I was having fun making 360s with the drone, you know, not thinking about, hey, how could I sell this to somebody? All right, so let's go ahead and close that one up. And as we started this out, we were talking about the new construction progression project. If you haven't watched all the videos yet, I do suggest that you do go watch all the videos. I'm just signing in here really quick to Drone Harmony. And so I just want to quickly show folks who might not have seen this yet. So I've got the flight path in here right now. So here was the area I surveyed. It's this blue teal thing. We've got these white lines on the outside. That's actually the digital elevation model that we loaded up. So that TIFF that I showed you before that was black and white, well, that TIFF actually translates into this 3D area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the visibility off on that area. And I'm going to turn the visibility off on these two flight plans. So I'm just going to check out this terrain now. And if I go over into the terrain aware feature, there it goes. It's starting to fill in. So that weird black and white TIFF that I showed you back at the beginning of this. So that strange black and white TIFF, let's see if we still have that up. There it is. So this weird TIFF file right here is what generated that terrain area in Drone Harmony. So, and there are other 3D modeling applications out there that will also import these types of digital elevation model TIFFs. So if you ever export one from something and you see this weird black and white image, you didn't break anything, you need one more step for actually viewing that 3D model. So here we go though. So this is what I've used to extrapolate a terrain aware flight. And sometime next week, I will be doing the terrain aware flight, so we'll be back out at the location. You'll actually see a little bit of the flight on screen on the Android, so that you can see the changes in the elevation there. So let's see here. Let's turn that flight plan on, and I'm just going to zoom it in. So this is the terrain aware flight plan, and you can see that things move around. So like I said, if you've already seen this in video number 4, this is not new to you. It's probably just a refresher. Hey Ray, how are you doing? Good to see you on channel today. But so this is the terrain aware flight we would be doing. And just to also see that this is a terrain aware flight, I'm going to click into the flight path here. And as you can see, we've got some points of interest that will be 25 meters above our launch area, and other areas where we go up to 47 meters. So this is the terrain aware waypoints. So as we move from one waypoint to the next, not only will the drone be, flying across and over, it's also going to be adjusting its altitude for capturing each of these. So that will be seen upcoming in, I think, video number 5, okay? So watch out for that one, and I'll be making an announcement as well. And I'll also let you know on next week's live stream as well. Okay, so we can hop out of this one. I'm going to pop out of Drone Harmony. Like I said way back at the beginning, we've done similar things on this channel with Map Pilot, with Pix4D Capture, with Litchi, with Ground Station Pro. So this one, we're just doing this project and we're featuring Drone Harmony on this particular one. And you will see more reasons as to why we've selected that as this project moves forward. Now, I wanted to talk about not just Maps Made Easy. So let me see here, just on my list. So I've moved things around today, and we had a late start because I was talking to myself. So, all right, I wanted to let everyone know, and one of the folks on channel here had notified me the other week that Maps Made Easy, which is another place that will render your 2D and 3D models, and they've got an interesting pricing plan. They're also the creators of Map Pilot, which I have been using for years. I have Map Pilot Standard, and I have Map Pilot Business. Map Pilot is heading for, good to see Drone Harmony get on the terrain aware train. Yeah, they've been on it for a bit, Matt. So they've, this was a thing with last year. They've got some other interesting things coming up, like their hill scan. And earlier in the video here, where we were showing that new set of properties we're going to be dealing with, that property could really use the hill scan because it's on the side of a mountain. Literally, it's on the side of a mountain, and the slope change is something else. So Map Pilot has recently made the announcement. So initial Map Pilot and Map Pilot Business, those are being phased out. So they're going to get some support for a little while longer. But they are now moving on to Map Pilot Pro. So once again, you can get a demo period with it. And then they do have some different pricing plans. So they've got a free plan, but you'll see what things you can and can't do. They've got $5 a month or $50 a year. So you might want to take a look at their pricing. And I'm going to be doing some new videos on Map Pilot again because some of the new features have overridden one of my classes. So on Teachable, we do have a Map Pilot class. It's still mostly relevant to this new stuff, but I think I'm going to go ahead and start from ground zero and redo a Map Pilot Pro class, because I do think that Map Pilot should also be one of the apps that's with you for your job sites. It comes in handy on smaller sites like you wouldn't believe. So I wanted to give everybody that heads up. So some changes from Maps Made Easy. Some people might grumble at the monthly pricing or yearly pricing. Keep in mind, everybody, we're a small niche market. For the overall hobbyists out there, not a lot of people are worried about 2D and 3D modeling or progression reporting or anything like that. So these guys have a very small audience that they're selling to, so small amount of demand and a lot of development time goes into these applications. And I can see where these companies, they can't afford to keep giving away all these applications for free. Fortunately, since they give us trial periods, we can see what works for us and what doesn't. But when you're getting ready to do a trial period, make sure that you get the most out of it. don't download it today and then not use it for 5 days, and now you've got fewer days to do your testing. So make sure that when you're going to do one of these, that you've got the time. And let's see, would that be Ground Zero Standard or Ground Zero Pro? Good one. So watch out on channel for my announcements when I redo the Map Pilot Pro as well. That leads into something else I did want to talk about today, which is apps overall. So it's not just Map Pilot Pro. Drone Harmony, they've got a free testing application, and then they've got some pay for tiers as well. Ground Station Pro, hey, there's a couple of unlocks on that, but it's an iPad only one, and they haven't done anything new with it in quite some time. It's been forever since I've gotten an update for Ground Station Pro. And if you look at Ground Station Pro, you'll notice that a lot of the new drones that have come out from DJI aren't supported by Ground Station Pro. So as we move forward and things develop for us in our small businesses, we need to keep up to date with our capture applications, what new things they're doing, and what they're supporting. Because I do get a lot of questions from people, is the latest Mavic Air compatible with this and Air 2 and this one and that one? With all these new ones out there, oftentimes these developers have just gotten the SDK when the drone came out, or maybe they've had a little lead time, but they have to go through a whole new development process again. So a lot of these new drones aren't working with our favorite applications yet. And I think that we're going to see that market consolidate over time as these development houses, if we keep getting these rapid fire drone changes, there's only so much that these smaller groups can do to keep up with it. So keep in mind, watch your favorite flight apps and make sure that they're developing and keeping up with DJI space to make sure that you've got the latest, most up-to-date thing that you can utilize, that it's not being phased out. So, and I'll let you all know how everything goes with Map Pilot Pro. I've actually been playing around with the interface already. So there we go. And, those prices, that didn't give me a heart attack here. So they do have a free version that you can play around with for a bit. So you can make your selections as you go forward. And don't forget that Maps Made Easy will actually do the rendering of your models for you. So I think there's some tie-ins there with the new Map Pilot Pro. All right, the next thing on my list is actually one of those realistic questions for everybody. So as you know, I have my small drone and imaging business. I also do web work as well. And I've been looking, one of the things you do is you pay attention to your profit and loss. And so while we did good going through last year with the pandemic, I have to say business has turned down a little for me. So while we've been doing some more drone work, we have been impacted on the website. So I do know, the PPP program is still out there, and I've actually been considering signing up for it. So I haven't done anything with payroll protection, but in the first quarter, we're down about 8,000. So it's a little painful, and I didn't know if any of you as small business owners opted to do the payroll protection program. So I was wondering if, give a shout out here in the next couple of minutes. I've seen a lot of other businesses doing this, and I've been trying to, continue developing ourselves during these trying times. And the whole reason why we're down this year is very simple. Two clients had to make some changes in what they were needing to do. One of the clients had two different websites for two not truly dissimilar products. So they had two sites that they wanted to differentiate with, but they made the decision to consolidate everything into one site last year. So that was one yearly maintenance package out the window. I didn't try to talk them out of it. I completely understood it. They've got a small business too. They've been impacted as well. So in the end, being down a little bit for this year is a little unnerving. So it's made me wonder, should we do the PPP? So I'll watch down in the comments and in the live chat to see what else you guys have to say on that, because I appreciate your input. You're kind of my virtual team, so I like being able to have these conversations with everyone here and on the Zoom meetups as well for the patrons. So by the way, this weekend on Sunday, will be a Zoom meetup. Let me see, aerial view. Rich, don't wait too long. Yeah, I know they have till the end of this month. So I think it's the end of this month, and I was thinking about doing it today. That's why I actually added it to my list to ask everyone on channel here. And, if anyone's had experience with it. So I know some people aren't on the live stream right now. So if you're watching this after the live stream, please leave a comment below to let me know what you thought of the process and if it's helpful to your business. So I don't like taking on debt or anything, and we're pretty much debt free around here. So I would like to keep it that way. I know it's on the business side, and business debt is different than personal debt, but it still leaves me I'm a little squeamish about it. So there we go. All right, let me take a look. So, all right, my next item here. All right, we talked about the drone software apps, and yes, all right. So two parts here. Number one, I got another contact last week from a potential client, and that client was getting in touch because they needed something shot tomorrow. Down in Phoenix. Can I get there now? Always remember, so number one, be polite when you get the calls and inquiries, but number two, you need to slow things down and get a little more information from them. So I just really want to stress that regularly on this channel. Don't get rushed into saying yes to something, and also don't act out of desperation. If you're still slowly building your business and you don't have a lot of clients yet, and you want to grab every single client out there, keep in mind those folks who are trying to really rush you forward probably aren't giving you all the information you need yet, and you need to make an informed decision as to whether or not this is a location that you can fly and produce good results for them. So that is often why I like to go out to potential client sites, like I did last week with that Bunker Hill property there, with the 3 different parcels that we started out with. I like to get the boots on the ground because it really gave me a lot more information by seeing the hillside that they're on. And even seeing it on the topographic maps on the Yavapai County GIS website, until you actually look at it, go, whoa, that is a major elevation change. And, just seeing it on that first preliminary visit with the client changed my mind about a couple of ways that I'm going to be approaching this one. And I'm going to have a discussion this week with him about a digital elevation model as well, because it's such a dramatic climb in such a short distance from the first smallest site up to the higher level sites as well. So slowing the conversation down, and this particular client, his name is Jay, he was very happy to have me out to take a look around the property and then give him my response and feelings and prices. So slowing that conversation down is hugely important. Finally, before we wrap this up, like I said, I've had some other clients impacted this year. I've also had some really interesting conversations with customers that I want to share with you today. When I was in grad school, I was actually training to be an economist. I was in the master's and doctoral program. Economics was always something interesting to me. I changed gears while I was in graduate school because I did my thesis on the economics of digital networks. And I found digital networks to be extremely exciting, so that is the world I went into. So in the back of my mind, sometimes the economist in me, pokes its head up and says, I'm a little concerned about something. So I'm a little concerned right now going forward over the next couple of years that we might see some pretty severe inflation over time. I say that because of the conversations that I've been having with some of my clients, drone clients and RV resort clients. In a recent conversation with one of my RV resort clients that we do fly the drone for as well, but we do web work for them, they also offer manufactured homes as well in their communities, and they're building new communities. And this particular business said to me that they were notified recently by the builders that they will not see any new orders until May of 2022. This also meshes with another one of my drone clients who's doing a construction project right now, and they are actually running into issues on short supplies. What I mean here is they can't get the wood they need delivered. The RV resort folks that I was talking to said that the manufacturers they were working with notified them recently of some larger than usual orders that have actually been jumped in front of them, because it's a higher profit margin for those particular orders. So that particular client of mine is sitting on a bunch of open lots right now, and they're not going to see any new product for a year. So they're saying May 2022. Here we are in May 2021. So as you're talking to your flight clients, pay attention and listen to what they're saying. See what's pushing their projects back so that you can anticipate these things in advance as well. So, and I'm just with all of the, my curiosity about the PPP program and, the assistance that's come out over the past year for small business owners and other people. When we just start adding zeros to the numbers out there, that is actually inflationary. And now that I'm hearing from my clients that supplies are becoming hard to come by, that is also going to be an inflationary thing too. So have that in your mind as you're quoting your projects too. If we do have concerns down the road that we start seeing, I'm not going to say hyperinflation right now, but if we start seeing more severe inflation, you're going to need to keep that in your mind for your pricing when you're talking to your customers as well. So we've all been hit by this. Don't go jacking your prices up on people, exponentially or anything. But when you start having your conversations, please do keep in mind that you also need to cover your bills and pay yourself. So if you do have to boost your prices a little this year, I don't find that unreasonable at all. All right, everybody, we're gonna wrap this one up here for today. So, boy, I once again apologize for the start of the stream. That basically I was talking to myself in a vacuum. So we'll see what that looks like on the stream replay here later today once it's done being processed by YouTube. And once again, sorry for not doing last Mondays. That's not a normal thing. So keep in mind, every Monday, 8 a.m. Pacific time during the summer, we'll be doing these live streams. I don't think anyone's going to bump me ahead on any other appointments in the next couple months. So we should be good to go. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great start to your work week. I hope you get some fun flights in. I hope you hear from some potential clients as well. If you've got any questions, always feel free to get in touch down through the comments or pop over to azdrone.net and you can use the contact form there and we can start a conversation as well. As always, thanks for spending the time with me here. I appreciate everybody on channel. And like I said, sometimes I feel like the people here are part of my own virtual team. So I hope the information here is useful to you guys as well. You're welcome, Bruce, as always, and we'll see you guys again in the very near future. So now let's see if I can turn the live stream off properly. So, all right, everybody, you have a great start to the week. All right.